It was one of those sweltering summer days in Miami when the humidity clung to the air, making every breath feel like a heavy burden. The streets were alive with tourists and locals alike, moving in and out of the shops, some heading to the beach, others taking in the sights. Among the throngs of people was 32-year-old Daniel Reyes, a Filipino-American man visiting the city to attend a tech conference. Daniel had just finished a long day of meetings, and after grabbing a quick dinner, he was headed back to his hotel near Ocean Drive, where he was staying for the week. As Daniel strolled down the sidewalk checking the time on his phone, he noticed a police car pull up nearby. He didn't think much of it. Miami's vibrant nightlife often drew officers out to patrol the streets. But that evening, Officer David Lawson was having a particularly bad day. He had spent the better part of the afternoon dealing with petty disturbances and complaints, all of which had left him in a foul mood. And as luck would have it, he saw Daniel walking alone. Daniel, dressed in a navy blue button-down shirt and dark jeans, didn't exactly fit the typical profile of someone out causing trouble. But to Officer Lawson, the sight of the young man was enough to trigger a gut reaction, a feeling of suspicion that he couldn't shake. He had seen too many people who didn't belong in this part of town, and in that moment, Daniel was no exception. With no justification, no cause, Lawson decided to approach him. "Hey, you!" Lawson shouted as he stepped out of the patrol car. "What are you doing here?" Daniel, taken aback, stopped walking and turned around. "Excuse me?" he asked, his tone polite but confused. "I said, what are you doing here?" Lawson repeated, his voice tinged with authority. "You don't look like you belong in this area." Daniel's confusion deepened, and he instinctively stepped back, feeling the tension in the air. "I'm just walking back to my hotel from a conference," he explained. "I'm not doing anything wrong." But Lawson wasn't listening. In fact, he was already advancing, his hand reaching for his radio. "Get your hands where I can see them," he barked. "You're acting suspicious." Daniel's heart began to race. He had done nothing wrong, yet he felt the weight of the officer's eyes on him, scrutinizing every move. "I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking back to my hotel. Please, there's no need for this," he tried to explain, his voice growing more nervous. Without warning, Lawson grabbed Daniel by the arm and yanked him toward the sidewalk. "You're not going anywhere until I say so," he growled, forcefully pushing him against the side of a nearby building. Daniel tried to pull away, but Lawson's grip tightened. "What the hell, man?" Daniel protested, struggling to break free. He could feel the officer's weight bearing down on him, the rough concrete pressing against his back. A group of pedestrians, alarmed by the sudden confrontation, began to gather. Some pulled out their phones, recording the incident. The officer's grip on Daniel's arm was painfully tight, and Daniel's heart pounded as he fought to stay calm. He was terrified, but he refused to let fear control him. "I'm not doing anything wrong," Daniel repeated, his voice shaking but firm. "You don't have the right to do this." Officer Lawson ignored him, his face flushed with anger. He twisted Daniel's arm behind his back, pulling out handcuffs. "You're under arrest for resisting arrest," he said, his words an unjustified pretext for his own aggression. But before Lawson could complete the arrest, one of the witnesses, a young woman named Jessica Rivera, stepped forward. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "This man hasn't done anything. You can't just arrest him like that." The crowd grew louder, the murmurs of disbelief filling the air. The phones kept recording, capturing every moment of the tense encounter. Jessica's voice cut through the chaos as she shouted, "Someone call the cops! This is wrong. You're harassing him for no reason." Lawson hesitated for a moment, sensing the shift in the crowd, but his pride and sense of power kept him from backing down. "This is none of your business," he snapped. It wasn't until another bystander, a middle-aged man named Carlos, stepped forward that the situation took a turn. "You're about to lose your job," Carlos said, his voice calm but certain. "You can't get away with this. We're watching." The words hit Lawson like a punch to the gut. For a brief moment, he hesitated, unsure of how to respond. He was being exposed, and the crowd was turning against him. His grip on Daniel loosened slightly, but just then a squad car pulled up. Officer Miller, a seasoned officer who had been patrolling the area, stepped out, surveying the scene. "What's going on here?" Officer Miller asked, her eyes darting between the crowd and Officer Lawson. "Nothing," Lawson muttered.